commitment and consistency. If you look at the kind of like principles of influence, we're using them all the time with our kids, with the business owners that we're talking to, and with ourselves even. On that, it goes actually to kind of what I titled the post and something I wanted to talk about. It's this idea of commitment and consistency. If you look at the kind of like principles of influence, we're using them all the time with our kids, with the business owners that we're talking to, and with ourselves even. And there's this principle called commitment and consistency where me, anyone that you're talking to is going to want to live up to the image that is portrayed. So whether it's like the story that you're telling yourself in your brain about your own business. So doubling your price is a great example of that. You're immediately saying, okay, now I am worth X. You are naturally going to try to justify living up to X in terms of like the value that you provide. If you're one of those that's like, that doesn't believe in the product, you think this is not a real business, whatever, like you're going to live up to that in the way that you're acting and with your prospects in your own business, you're going to self-sabotage. So by doing so, you can do some of these little tricks that you can play on yourself to help yourself succeed by increasing your prices. Or, there was a study that was done where they had, I think it was like a, what do they call it? Basically whoever's like running the study. So they're kind of like a plant, right? They're on the beach. They have like their little radio or whatever on the beach. And then they get up and walk away from their towel. And they specifically sit like right next to someone. Then they have another plant that's like the thief, right? So this thief comes by, steals the radio and runs off. And they did this study. And they had two test groups. One test group, they didn't say anything to the people sitting next to the person with the towel. They just let the thief come, steal the thing and run off, right? The other group of the people, it was as simple as the guy saying, hey, could you watch my things? I'm just going to go down here to grab something to drink or down the beach, whatever, real quick. Right. The people that they said, hey, can you watch my stuff for me? You set this like expectation that you're going to watch my stuff. I don't know who you are from Adam. And the percentage of people that chased down the thug, literally some of them even like tackled them, versus those that hadn't been communicated with at all. It was like night and day. I think it was something like, like 1 out of 100 who wasn't communicated with didn't get up and chase down the thief, whereas like 90% of those that were. And so you think about that, what you tell yourself and what you tell your other people. So maybe it's yourself about what you're worth in terms of your pricing and what you're going to do to justify that. Maybe that's, the next business owner that you're talking with about, why they need your service and they need your leads. You need to be aware of like what you're kind of speaking over them and picking up from them in terms of what they believe about their business, because you're dealing with someone else on the other side of the phone or on the other side of a Zoom or the other side of a coffee cup, like whatever, who also like would rather just take the warm shower, would rather just be comfortable. You have to like call them out as well too, and kind of paint this picture. So, I just want to kind of like open that up. It kind of, maybe there's some ways that you're using this already, and would love for you to kind of like share that here in the chat and with your peers. But how are you using kind of commitment and consistency of whether it's the story you're telling yourself, maybe what your prospect is telling themselves, or even the person that's visiting one of your lead gens, like what are they telling themselves, and how are you infusing that into the words that you're using, maybe verbally, maybe with the written word, or sometimes, like I said, even just like in your own head.
I love it. One thing I got told the other day, the guy was over at my house training Jeremiah DJing, DJ A+, amazing guy. And he was talking to me it was Christmas Eve. He was talking to me about how he approaches life. And he's got the craziest, coolest story of like when he was a child, and like different story for different now. I'll tell it to you guys. But just his upbringing was like he shouldn't be alive, basically. And he was talking to me about how he uses that as like every day as a gift, right? That he's received. And one of the things that he mentioned to me, I thought was really cool, because I tend to, or I can tend to go down this road if I'm generally a pretty positive person, pretty happy, go lucky, until I'm not. And then I'm like the pendulum just, and I can go real dark real quick. And he was saying, you know, like when people, this is really important for you guys going into this new year to know this, but he's like, when anyone around you even says something, you know, negative, they could be sharing something that happened to themselves. Like they come in, they just, you know, you might have like a nagging spouse and they, you know, they're constantly like, hey, are you gonna, and it's like, it's kind of a negative drain of energy that is being transferred. And he said, so a rule and a motto he kind of lives by is if anyone tells him something negative, no matter who it is, no matter what it is that they told him, he makes them follow it up with two things positive. And I love this that you do with your kid. This is great if you want to practice with your kids, practice with yourself too. If you find yourself, if you can remember going down a negative route or you're getting impacted by someone's negative words and the things that they're saying, you know, it could be someone that's not disagreeing with you that you should be an entrepreneur. It could be a million things. It could be about someone else. Getting yourself reset is a big deal. And I can tell you for someone like me who I can swing both directions. I can be the highest of the highs and I can also go the darkest of the dark. And it can easily get you out of that state that someone who you didn't even intend to. This happened to me the first thing I woke up this morning. I got hit with negative and I'm like, like ticked, right? And you got to break yourself out of that state, especially in business, especially as an entrepreneur, because you know, you don't know who you're impacting when you're speaking to them and you're maybe not at your tip top shape. So I just really would encourage you guys to kind of listen to that wisdom, because every person and every communication you come in contact with on a daily basis has a direct impact on how you're perceiving the rest of the world and the way that you're, you know, operating. And I think a lot of us, if we could stay in the state, that state of excitement, joy, happiness, right? This is where the most creation is going to come out. This is where you're going to do things and you're going to see things in your business manifest that you've never seen before, because you're playing at a higher vibe.